CMA Canada Covenant Award nominee for his 2010 debut album, Your Strength, from British Columbia. He has toured with Jars of Clay, Mercy Me, and even opened for Chris Tomlin at Wonder Jam last weekend. And he's passing through Ottawa this weekend, leading worship on Sunday morning at Community Pentecostal Church in Orleans. So thanks for stopping in, Dan.
It's awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I got to ask what it was like for the beginning for you, because it hasn't been that long since you started as an artist yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a pretty wild ride so far, and we'll talk a bit more about that a little bit later. But just looking back from the beginning, what do you think? What's going through your head these days?
I'm looking back and just thinking, man, God is good. And I think, like, starting out in music, I had all these dreams, and I spent a lot of years actually as a drummer, drumming for different artists, and I always just wondered, like, man, I wonder if this could work. And looking back, just seeing God being so faithful and just being so good and opening so many doors, I feel very humbled. And
you're a self-taught guitar player, I read that, right?
Yeah.
So did that start later in life after the drumming, or was that something that you were doing kind of at the same time?
Drumming was my first thing, and I loved drumming. I still love drumming. But guitar was, I remember listening to the radio, like, we didn't have Christian radio in our hometown. I came from a very small town called Salmon Arm, British Columbia. And I remember, like, listening up late at night, and my dad's a pastor, and my parents didn't like me listening to radio. But I remember listening to radio and being like, man, I really want to write songs that go on the radio, songs that, that are catchy, songs that people like. And that really drove me to learn guitar. And I thought, I can't write songs if I don't learn instruments. So that's when I started to learn guitar. I learned a few chords, and haven't looked back.
It's pretty tricky being a leader as a drummer. It can be done. It's definitely a skill, singing and drumming at the same time. But you mentioned Salmon Arm. I know that's where Greg Sabella's from.
That's right.
And you toured with him drumming for a while.
Yeah.
You toured with Jars of Clay and Mercy Me, as I mentioned. You spent 5 weeks, too, in Australia back in February.
Yeah.
So what has been a highlight of your career, if you could just pick one?
You know what? The highlight for me has just been being on the road and doing music. And I think to nail it down to a specific tour is really tough, although Australia is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, like, the ocean and surfing and everything. But the highlight for me is when you have those moments where you just feel like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, and people really connect with music, and really just seeing people worship. And I just love that, just seeing people worship and connect with God. That's a highlight for me.
And last September, Dan, you released your EP, Light My Way. Where do you think that you've come as a musician, as an artist, since your debut album, Your Strength?
Well, I guess musically, I've tried to change it up a little bit and give it a little bit of a different sound as it goes along. But I think we're all growing, in our relationship with God and in our life and things that are happening. And I think a project like Light My Way is basically just describing the ongoing journey. And we all have an ongoing journey. And it's my ongoing journey with God. And hopefully it speaks to other people in their journeys with God. And nothing in life is certain, but God is really faithful to lead us as we go on our journey.
Cool. So you can do a song for us right now?
Yeah.
Which song are you going to do?
I'll do a song from that album, and it's the last single that I released. It's called After All, and it actually kind of just talks about what we were just talking about, the journey of life and the craziness of it and how God's in the middle of all of it.
Go for it.
Many days I have seen, many places I've been, many paths my feet have brought me down. Many fires I have lit, many faces I've met. All the while my heart is before your eyes. But after all, you lead this journey through the storm. You lead me on. You lead me on. Many fights I have fought, many battles I've lost, many lessons brought me unto my knees. Yeah, many times I have won, many victories belong to us, all while your sovereignty leads me on. Yeah, well, after all, you lead this journey through the storm. You lead me on. You lead me on. Yeah, I can see the ground beneath my feet is lit by you, and I believe the path is ever leading onwards. After all, you lead this journey through the storm. You lead me on. After all, you lead this journey through the storm. You lead me on. You lead me on.
Dan Bremnes. The EP is called Light My Way. You can see him this Sunday morning leading worship at Community Pentecostal Church, 1825 St. Joseph Street in Orleans at 10:30 a.m. Dan, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Have an awesome weekend.